Awesome. Do you want to jump in and I'll kind of introduce and start everything up? And awesome. Okay, so I am Allison Driscoll. I'm in New Hampshire. I've been licensed 9 years and I've been with Real for it'll be 3 years in June, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. Well, Stevie, we joined I think like the same time.
Yeah, I think I'm
Yeah.
like 2.5 years. So,
When's your 3 year?
September,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I
I
maybe
think.
yes, like 6 3 months before you.
That
Get
is so long
my
though for
math
like a
brain,
newer
yeah, going.
new coverage.
But yeah, we're going to talk about real estate systems today, and it's going to be a mastermind. So it's not going to be like one of us talking the whole time about our own personal systems and kind of telling you what you should do. I really want to have it open where we're kind of sharing a system that's been working really well for us. This could be a CRM, anything that's been helping you like systemize, automate, helping you with your business. It can be something really small, like, what you do to celebrate birthdays or, anything that's helping your business, especially things that people might not be aware of. And then anything that like you used in the past that you're like, stay away, don't do it. I wouldn't recommend it. I wasted 3 grand trying this out for months and it just is not the right fit. And then if anyone has like, hey, I just had a call with this company, or I am interested in, setting up a system for, post closing or whatever it is, like ask, and either someone on this call, if you've had experience with it, can chime in, or since it's being recorded, if you're not able to get your answers here, then maybe we can continue the conversation in the Facebook group and see other people are using for it, and just kind of share out what we're doing. I think it's a really good starting place this time of year to get that stuff, because for a lot of us the market is warming up, and it's good to get those systems in place before we get behind. I think that's like me all the time, is like, oh, I'm thinking about doing XYZ, and then like the market goes crazy, and then I'm really busy, and then it's hard to set the systems up. And then it never really happens because you don't have that time to actually utilize it. So it can either be setting things up now, or, research phase, and then when the market slows down, or, when you have a break, being able to go in and get that set up. So, like Stevie said, we have a nice little group on today. And we can just go through, when you start talking, if you just want to introduce yourself, who you are, what state you're in, and, a system that either you've loved, are curious about, or wouldn't recommend. That's kind of how the flow is going to go for today. And feel free to either comment in the chat if you want to share while someone's talking, or if you have any questions, and then we can kind of bounce around to everyone that way. Cool. Does anyone have, I can go as well, but I want to kind of bring the floor to if anyone has anything that they like really want to share right now. I want to make sure everyone gets a good opportunity.
I think we want to learn.
Andy's hopping on.
Oh,
I would say a very, very quick, like untraditional system that
Yeah.
actually Stevie introduced me to back in like 2021, I think. So I feel like I always struggled with like the bigger kind of like CRMs and the follow
Mhm.
up and all of that. And I always would kind of get like stuck in it. And Stevie showed me Trello, which has honestly been like my best CRM that I've used. And again, it's like the most simplest form, but like what I do every single day is I go in and I check my Trello and I check like my warm, my hot, like my pending and all of that. And that has been for me like the biggest saving of keeping track of everything over like the big CRMs, because I just always get so lost in on whether
Yeah.
I was at Keller Williams or we had like Chime and that got bought out for something. So I feel like that is like my system. But again, it's like the most basic quote unquote system that you could use.
Yeah. I know people like Trello for teams and stuff too. And I'm also taking notes. So I'll make a post in the group with like recommendations, and it will just like a quick note about each thing. And then that way, if you hear something or you're watching the replay and you're like, oh, what was it? I'll have like a short list of what people mentioned so you can look it up.
So that would be my super, super basic system
I
that
love
I
that though. So I've been using Follow Up Boss for like 5 years, and I really like Follow Up Boss because it does kind of incorporate some of Trello's features where you have a transaction and like one of the tabs on there really looks like a Trello board, and you
Mm.
can kind of bring them through where it's like, you know, the initial appointment, and you can drag it over to like, okay, now I'm got them set up to receive listings. Okay, now I have an offer in, now we're under contract. So I really like that about Follow Up Boss. I really feel like I wish there was Follow Up Boss and Lofty could kind of like come together, because I like the features of Follow Up Boss, but I also like the features of Lofty, but I'm only using like some of the features. So I actually have both. But I feel like Follow Up Boss is basic, right? There's no website, there's no IDX. It's like $60 a month, but I really like to put my clients in there, and I feel like it's very, very user friendly. Like I don't need to watch a whole bunch of tutorials on how this all works. There's no AI feature. It's pretty basic, but I can go in there and add all these action plans, these reminders, and basically I will go in immediately and add in like, when is their home anniversary? When is their birthday? Like anything I know about them, and just constantly setting up these reminders, these tasks, so that whenever I log in, it also syncs to my Google business page. So I'm just getting reminded in both angles. So I really like that. And I haven't really dove into Lofty yet, which I feel like is such a huge incentive at Real, because this, I looked it up, it's $500 a month, and also I think like $500 to start if you are getting Lofty outside of Real. So it's like super fancy, high tech, has all these awesome features, but with our partnership that Real has with them, you know, it's its own CRM company. It's not owned by Real, so we can take this wherever. But the partnership is $40 a month, right? So it's so much more affordable. And
Yeah.
so I have that, and I'm really enjoying like the AI features of it. But I haven't really dove into all that it can do. But I
Yeah.
know you use Lofty, right?
Annie, what are you using for like any sort of automation with, let's say you get a new lead in? Are
So
you
that's
only
the
using
thing is I
Trello, and are
literally,
you like you're manually doing everything else?
yes. So I
Correct.
manually do everything, which some say is terrible. So I used Lofty for a year when I was at a very, very small like boutique brokerage here in Jacksonville. And they had like a specific lead program that you would get the lead, it would send it to you directly in there. So Lofty is like amazing for teams because you can
Yep.
send people around and everything. I think for me, it's like what I get stuck up on is like, yes, I'm tech savvy in a sense, but I'm totally not at the same time. And for
Yes.
me, I get lost in how complex the systems are, where I do everything like automated, whether it's like my follow up down to like, I mean, Stevie knows this. I draft out like 30 different reels for the week. And I don't even schedule those. I still do it all myself. So
Yep.
I still do it all myself, but I was forced to use Lofty for about a year, and it's great, but it's for me, it's just too complex. But I also
Yeah.
think I'm just a weirdo in that sense. That I like to make
I'm
my life
running into the
harder.
same, so I have the same problem with the CRM. So when I was at Keller Williams, you know, they came out with Command, and that's what everyone switched to. And it was really awful. And then they kept saying, we're going to make it better. And it wasn't better. So I kind of have like PTSD from that. So like I also have Lofty, but I don't utilize it like I should. And one of my plans, so I just started a team. And one of my plans is to just hire someone. I know that there's people in like if you're with Real in like Work Vivo, I would say workplace still. There's mentions of people who like you can pay them to set up Lofty. And because they're, I don't know if it's a real agent or they're somehow like related, so they get kind of the systems and what we're looking to do. That's something that I want to do because I don't want to like manually put everyone in, but I want to have like the birthdays and the anniversaries and like I'm using Google for spreadsheets. So like Andy, when you're talking about like manually doing everything, like that's kind of what I have some stuff in Lofty set up, but I still like to keep everything tracked in a spreadsheet. And it works really well because like I know I can ask like Leo the AI what my GCI was last year, but like I like to go in and be like, oh, these were the transactions and um follow up with people. I just started doing market updates for past clients. I was using ChatGPT to like help with some of that stuff. And yeah, I like to be able to just like, okay, I'm going to go back to 2020, people who bought then, like, and then just go down that way. And I find it easier to just pull up a list versus like find the tags and find it in the CRM. And it's, like you said, it does get a little complicated, but I would like to do that. So basically I'm using just Google Sheets. And I have a folder and like everything's organized. Um, but then I'm using Flodesk for like email newsletters. That's been working well. I know a lot of you use Coffee and Contracts and I'll customize it, but I use some of the emails for that. And I actually have in Google, I have a folder for my relocation group that I run, and I already made the newsletter for every single month. The only thing I add is like I'll do like events for the month and I add that in, but everything else is done. So like last month the topic was school options in New Hampshire. I've done one on like the different areas of New Hampshire, like different regions and where people, like you can expect different living in different areas. But I have the entire year already like 90% made. And then that way I can just put it into Flodesk in order to then send it out. So I'm using a few different systems pieced together and it's working, but I am interested in like maybe using Lofty more. Like you said, Stevie, it's so affordable and it's a really expensive system. So that's kind of an incentive for like, should I be using it more? Probably. And I do like I've used the AI for a new listing and it does like talk to your people for you. And you can kind of check in on what it's saying and then jump in when you want to have a conversation with them. But it does help with like just all of the, just the basics. It'll ask, all the questions to kind of get them ready to go working with you. So it's a really cool system, but it's super overwhelming.
And
So that's kind of
something
my
else
take.
that just a quick note for birthdays, I put
Yep.
all of those birthdays into my contacts. And so then it pops into my actual like calendar that's connected obviously
Yep.
through Google. And then I go through every like week or, obviously like a few weeks ahead, whether I'm going to send a card or just shoot them a text. And
Yep.
that's how I keep track of all birthdays, which is like the most,
Cool.
again, basic way. But to me, it's a lot easier than, again, with like the tags and all of that. And going back to like the basics, like right now I'm planning this event, and if I had everybody in Lofty, I probably could just search, easily the tags, but it's like I always just go back to my Trello of like
Yep.
2025, 2024 and so on. But it's just interesting how some people thrive on the complexity and then others like myself are challenged.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I would need someone to just like have it all set up because it is super complicated to get it all ready. But I feel like once it was ready, it would be pretty straightforward. And there's so many tutorials. There's like, I know Real does like a Lofty, I think it's weekly. So you can go and like learn about that. But yeah, it is just getting started. Um, What do you guys like to do? Not necessarily systems, but like, what do you do for home anniversaries? Curious about like what people like to do. Like, do you send a text? Do you email? Do you send them something?
Okay, one thing I was going to mention before I forget
Oh
is
yeah.
like, so when I first got Lofty, I had Lofty. I reached out to them and take all my people from Follow Up Boss and put them into Lofty. So like you
Hmm.
could give them your Excel spreadsheet and they'll do that for you for like no cost. So I just thought I would mention that, Allison, so
Oh, cool.
you don't have to pay someone to do that. So I thought that was nice. Um,
Allison,
the
if you
I
do,
just mean like I have like things like I know I have a lot of people that are not complete. Like I don't have, like if they purchase with me, I don't have everyone's birthdays. I don't have everyone's, it's like I have some things that I would want someone to literally go in and like go through my Facebook and like
yeah,
find when their birthday is and put it in there or whatever it is.
that'd be
Yeah, just like the stuff that I could do, at 10 o'clock at night, but like I don't want to be doing.
do not want to do it. Yeah, Ingrid, did you have a question?
no, I just wanted to say if Allison does find somebody to do that
Oh,
for her, kind of share it with us because
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I'm paying for Lofty, but I'm not using it to its full potential at all. Like
Yeah.
I'm still like using like half Lofty, half Notion, half a bunch of other stuff. So it'd be nice to just have everything integrated into one space rather than 50 million different apps.
right.
Yep.
I feel like we all need to leverage Lofty. Even like
Yeah.
not even all the fancy features, but just getting our people in there, getting it organized and having everybody all in one place, I think could be really cool. And
Yep.
I have
Absolutely.
like when people inquire, like it says online that they like found me through Google. So I don't know if it's like my website or they went to my Instagram and found the link or whatever. But I will have people who like are looking at properties and stuff. And I do love that it dings me, it notifies me, it wants to like it will either draft like this email to them, this text, I can call them,
Hmm.
and or it can just like carry on the conversation without me. You know, the AI Anna can
Yep.
can do it all. And so I'm like, I really got to tap into this. It's so
Yeah.
okay. So for the home anniversary thing, I'm basically using the market dwellings cards that they have on their website and enclosing the Starbucks card and my business card and a little handwritten note, and that's that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty
I
much doing
do,
the same, Stevie.
oh God. You do the same?
Yeah, market
Yeah.
dwelling. It's
Yeah.
it's it's done for you,
Do
so it's
you
a lot
do,
easier than.
like just 1 year? Do you do like a 5 year?
I do the first year, and then I've been doing every year after that, just like
Oh,
another
okay.
year in your home and stuff.
Yep.
So that's been working out pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, me too. I do it every year.
Which
Okay.
is another thing I would like to use Lofty more because right now it's just all on my Google Calendar. Like, so it'd be nice to get all of that on Lofty and just be able to go into one place and kind of free up
Yeah.
space on my calendar with all that information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. Right now I'm doing just a 1 year and a 5 year. So the 1 year I do maple candy since I'm in New Hampshire. And so it's nice because I do like a cute package and it's in there with like a card and it it doesn't like melt in the mail or anything like that. And I feel like I'm very sensitive to like people, like I don't ever do like booze for closing gifts because I know so many people that for health reasons or like they no longer drink for various reasons. So like I was trying to find something that like doesn't have nuts in it so people aren't gonna have allergies or anything like that. So that has been really nice. So I'll do that for the first year, but then like I don't know, to send those out like all the time is a lot. So I wasn't sure if I was gonna do like just a card or an email or I don't know, something like I want it to be like personal, but not like this giant like constantly sending out mail. So I think the market dwellings would be, because they have cute ones where it's like a scratch ticket. I think that would be fun. Yeah, those different ones.
I know
Um,
this chicken is like a little corny, but I also feel like I'm like, oh, it's like a fun little activity to
yeah,
do.
yeah,
It's so simple. So
yep.
I just did that for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, that's really cute. I get monthly, there's this lender I worked with a couple of times years ago, and I still get junk from her every month. Like I just got one, I don't even know what it was, but I immediately threw it away. And so I'm just really careful to like
Yeah.
not send people junk. So it's something like a gift card where you can actually use it whenever you're ready to use it is great. And it's showing like you're thinking about them, but it's not just like something extra they don't need. So
Mm-hmm.
that's nice. Um, Someone mentioned, who was it? Was it you, Ingrid, that was talking? There was a system that you just mentioned that we hadn't heard. Um,
Notion?
Notion, yes.
Yes.
And you like
So,
that?
I mean, it's good. There's not much. I mean, again, it's one of those things I have to kind of dwell into it a little bit
Yeah.
more.
And
But
that's
there's
similar
a
to Trello, correct?
I
I haven't
I've heard
used
of it, but
Trello.
I don't know much about it.
No, I haven't used Trello, so I wouldn't know if it's similar to it.
Okay.
I'll take a look at it because Annie made it sound very interesting. But Notion is pretty much it's I don't even know what to call it. Maybe Stevie has a better, but it's very straightforward. There's nothing fancy about it, but it can do a lot. It just doesn't have like a lot of automations to it. I know they've come up with a lot of features now that you could integrate into it with
Okay.
automations, but I have to learn it a little bit better to kind of start putting that into use. But I
Okay.
use it mostly like or CRM where I keep updates and anniversaries and like little notes regarding every client. So
Okay.
yeah.
I think of it as like a note taking app.
Right.
I use it every day. So I have like different things that are in here, like my ideas of content creation or my next YouTube script, or I made some notes for this call, and there's just like a bunch of tabs on the left. So almost like a glorified notes app.
Okay.
There are a lot of features and things you can do on there, but I really kind of just use it for basic. I did buy a template, so I use the template for like my YouTube and short form content, like plugging in ideas. You can do like keep it updated with like the status if you need to add notes, like stuff like that. But I pretty much see it as like a notes app.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
use it a lot to keep track of tasks.
yeah.
Okay.
What was that called?
Awesome. Notion.
Yeah, I think it's free. Ingrid, do you know if you pay for it? I'm trying to look on
I'm
my.
sorry. No, there's a free version and then there's a paid version. But pretty much the free version does all the same things
Yeah,
as the paid one. And
there's
you
always.
can buy so many templates of it on Etsy that you don't need the paid
Okay.
version, honestly.
Yeah.
And they're like $1 or $2 or $3, depending on
Mm-hmm.
what template you're getting.
What kind of template are you getting from Etsy?
So like I got the CRM one, like the contacts one. I got
Oh.
one that keeps track of my goals. I got one that keeps track of my tasks. I'm also using the one Stevie shared with us in regards to the short-term contacts for like your reels and stuff. And there's another one that again, like it has a calendar one as well that you can use. So there's a lot of different ones. And then I have a bunch of like personal ones that I use for like my kids' school and our calendars and our, activities and all that stuff as well. So you can use it for both, honestly.
That's nice. Since we were talking about Lofty, I thought, so I use Luxury Presence as my website, and I'm actually, so part of why I like wanted to hire someone is because I want to change from Luxury Presence to Lofty. Um, and so Real has a deal with Luxury Presence, so it is cheaper, but it's still expensive. There's a setup cost, and then there's like a monthly, there's different tiers. There's automation like Lofty does, and it's beautiful, but I feel like I was a little bamboozled with like what, like how it really works. It's more aesthetically pleasing than actually usable. I can actually share my screen and show you my website. Oh, so do you have to turn on sharing for since you're hosting? Um, you're on mute too.
Okay, so I think I just
Okay.
changed it so that multiple people can share.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so, all right, I'm sharing my screen. You can all see it?
It's black. Oh wait, now I can.
Okay.
It looks so
Alright.
good.
Yeah, so I love how it looks. I like custom, like they were really good with listening to what I wanted. I just made this video on Canva
Oh,
and imported it. And so like I work with like a lot of homeschooling families, a lot of like more holistic minded people and relocation stuff like that. So this is my website and it is beautiful. Um it has different options. The only thing I wish it had is like I don't have a link to go to like all of my guides, but I do have I'm just going to move us over. If you go here, it will go to resources and then you can get like my relocation guide. And so I can have a link like from my Instagram to this, which is really nice. But there is like I was using, well, I still am using RPR now for doing like a market analysis for people. Because there is one through here, but it's very beautiful. It's white with like, some like taupey colors. It's really nice. But it doesn't have, it's missing a lot of information. For example, I did one, I printed it out and I loved it. It was great. And I get to the house and I see it doesn't have the town name. So it has the street, but like where I am, we have a lot of small towns. And so someone would be like, it would be the address, and they're like trying to figure out how far that comp is from their house. And they're like, oh, what town is that in? And unless I wrote a note down, I would have no idea because it doesn't say. And so things like that is just missing a lot. It isn't as user friendly than like RPR if anyone uses that. So, and RPR is free. It's not as beautiful, but it is nice. I just had someone do the home valuation yesterday, actually. They've been talking with me, and then I saw like 11 o'clock last night. Apparently, they went on and asked what their home value was. It definitely was lower than what it should have been, but it's like one of those things where it's a good starting point. And then I can go to their house. But like I think the website is beautiful and I'm hoping I can get Lofty to look something like this. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of my thing with this. Oh, and the biggest issue that I've been having with that is I've had people come on here and they'll do a home search and it's not 100% accurate. I had someone who reached out to me about a property that had sold that was not on the market anymore. And so that's where it gets frustrating, where honestly, I would rather have people reach out and me set them up on a search in the MLS, and then all of my people are in the same place. And then I can go and look at their searches. I had someone sign up using an email, and then they got mad at me because it was automatically sending, new matches to that email, and they didn't want to use that email. They wanted to use a different email, but I couldn't change it on my end. They had to change it. So things like that. Overall, like I said, it's beautiful. They have this thing for neighborhoods. So it just shows you like these are all pictures from my past listings. So you get to choose like what towns that you want to feature, or if you're like in a city, what different neighborhoods that you want to showcase. So it looks very nice. It's just the usability isn't as there. So, um, yeah, that's kind of like my spiel on luxury presents. I think it's great to an extent, but like the amount that you pay for it, I had higher expectations.
Okay, what else should we chat about?
Oh, that was already answered, Nicole. I just saw your chat. Yeah, so that is something I'm gonna change back over to Lofty, and then hopefully with that, do a little bit more with that. The other thing that I was looking into was high note. Having a team, I think it would be helpful to have. I kind of Annie, do you use high note? Oh, she might be gone now.
Oh, I was
I-
on mute. I
Oh,
have
you're
not, to be honest.
okay.
What is?
What is high note?
Yeah.
So, a couple, I know a few people who use it. And I haven't started using it yet. It's something you have to pay for. So I'm like, kind of figuring out. Katie Day uses High Note a lot. She's had on Workplace, if you search her name, I think you have to search her name and High Note because she does like the media masters every week.
Mhm.
So like you'll see a million of those. But basically, it's kind of a document that you can send to a client and you can use it in different ways. But kind of the most useful that I find is you can have a whole document that's really easy to navigate. And you can have, for example, a sample of a listing agreement, and you can have it partially filled out. So they have a sample before you meet with them. You can have your listing presentation in there. You can have a video of, like a marketing video. You can have a document that has, your home sales stats. It's just a lot of information versus sending individual emails that get lost,
Mhm.
or you send one thing that has like, it's overwhelming. So I like the fact that you can have like, an introduction to yourself, listing presentation, examples. You can have a document that says, once we go under contract, these are the steps. So I like it's presented really beautifully and it walks someone through all of that.
Mhm.
You can also do it for like agent onboarding. So if you're doing agent attraction, like I have a document that I send to people that has the link to the training calendar so they can check out a live training. It has the slide deck. It has videos. Like there's a couple ones of like Sharon. There's ones from agents who have left different companies who've come over to Real. So I send that over, but I think it would be helpful to have it organized. With different resources so people can access that. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it, but it's definitely like good for organizing. Same thing for like if you have a team, then you can have one for the team. So they have, let's say your agent compensation plan is in
Mhm.
there. Your value proposition for the team, what they get for being on the team is in there so they can keep track of it. Links. So if you are giving them access to, if you're paying for their Lofty or a website or whatever it is, you can have all of their logins all in one spot. You can potentially include, like leads that have been given to them. It's a way to organize things to share with people. So that's
Mhm.
kind of how it's like different. It's not a CRM because it's more of like sharing out to people versus information you keep for yourself, if that makes sense. I feel like you could use it for like, instead of like a spreadsheet, you could have everything on there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I know Katie has them for like buyers and sellers. She has separate ones. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like something I'm looking into.
Wow. Yeah, I
Sure.
put it into ChatGPT and I asked what is high note, and it literally is like everything you said. It said
Oh, cool.
how real estate agents use high note: listing presentation, buyer presentations, agent recruiting, transaction coordination, tracking plus notifications.
Awesome.
And they have a free plan available or a pro plan that starts at $49 a month. Interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of ChatGPT, I'm
Yeah.
using the free version and the version it's like I think it's doing like some extra things like you can only use it a certain amount of times. Like when I do my newsletter,
Mhm.
I can make like 3 full newsletters or whatever, and then it's like you can't do any more until tomorrow or
Mhm.
whatever. So I think
Mhm.
with the paid version, it's unlimited. Are you able to do things with ChatGPT? Like if I wanted to do like a Google form and send that out, it will tell me like what things I can put in there, but I have to do it myself. I've heard things like you can use ChatGPT to like make this presentation, make this form, like so anyone who has the paid version of ChatGPT, I guess what benefits are you seeing over the free version and like kind of what things are you using it for? So I've been
Um,
thinking of dabbling into paying for it.
yeah, I do pay for it. I'm probably not using it for all of its features, but we can ask ChatGPT if it can do these things.
Yeah.
But I basically use it because I feel like it's like I only ever have these like chunks of time to do
Yes.
work when I have help. And so I use ChatGPT for everything.
Hmm.
And um, with all this like content that I'm pushing out. So I feel as though it kept limiting me when I would need it. And I was like,
Mm.
okay, it kept happening over and over. And I'm like, I need to like, this is my opportunity to get stuff done. So I ended up doing the paid version only because of that, which
Yeah.
um yeah. So you were asking if ChatGPT can send Google Forms.
Yeah.
It says
Um,
you can't use ChatGPT directly to send Google Forms because ChatGPT doesn't have email sending or form distribution capabilities
but it
on
can
its
make it,
own.
I think.
Okay, so it says you can use ChatGPT to write the content for your Google form. You can use it to write an email or message to share your Google form link, like an email blast, Instagram caption, or DM template, or draft reminders or follow ups after someone fills it out.
Okay.
So,
But you would still put it in because I think I've seen like I know now you can like upload a picture and like ask questions, but then I run into certain limitations where um it would be like, oh, I can't recommend a specific, like, if you're like, oh, I want inspiration from an Instagram account that does X, Y,
mhm,
and Z, it'll be like, I can't recommend specific accounts, but you should look
mhm,
for blah blah blah. So I'm like, I wonder if that's like a pro version or
mhm.
it's everything I'm getting now, but it just doesn't limit the time. Which in that case, it wouldn't necessarily be super important. Like I don't really run into where I'm trying to do like 20 things at once. It's like I'll use it for the task that I'm doing right now, and then I'll close it up and be done with it.
So it says it can't browse Instagram or find specific accounts directly.
Yep.
However, it can definitely help you find or connect with XYZ, what I search for, by giving
Hmm.
search tips and hashtags that work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So,
definitely I use it a lot for um drafting things and then I like will change it a lot. Like it drives me crazy. I don't know if it's like area specific or if it's just ChatGPT, but like every time I see a listing that says this house boasts whatever, I
mhm.
know
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
wrote it
yeah.
with ChatGPT. Like there's always these keywords that people,
A
you know,
bunch of emojis.
what was that?
A bunch of emojis. I feel
Yeah,
like.
oh yeah, like too many. But it is really good like when you are logged in, I have found it really does like it remembers and it um I wanted to write a new bio. So
Mhm,
like I am doing like new listing presentations and bio presentations for the team and I've had this bio that I had before for like
mhm,
5+ years.
mhm.
And I was like, oh, I want to change it. So I literally just typed in like based off of what you know of
Yeah,
me, write a bio. And it was like pretty
pretty.
spot on. Like I like
Yeah,
tweaked it a tiny bit, but it was so nice that like it wrote
yeah,
an entire bio and it was like it
done.
wasn't a generic bio that like any realtor like it knew when I would got into business. It's kind of creepy, like, and it knows like what I specialize in, and just from the content, like I will use like coffee and contracts for a real idea, and then I'll like put it into ChatGPT and like change it up so it's like more of like kind of my specialty. and like what I focus on, and maybe about New Hampshire a little bit more than the general information. But yeah, it's just been super helpful
I
for
think, did you say
doing
you were
that.
using ChatGPT for market updates?
Yes.
What does that look like?
Yeah, so I've done it. I haven't done it in a while because I don't really do like what the market looks like on Instagram, but I'll do it on like for my relocation group sometimes. I don't do it often because honestly it's kind of depressing because it's always
Oh,
like the market is down 52% from last year, which is an all-time low anyway. And I'm like, ugh.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I try not to do too much with that, but yeah, it'll give you like if you ask for specific things, it will reach because we have in New Hampshire we have like our there's a website that has like the year over year
Mhm,
market data. So if you just say, if you want to be specific and say, can you tell me the a market update from, March of 2025 compared to March
mhm,
2024, and then I will include the link to that website. I don't even know if you even have to do that, but I'll do that so I know they're pulling from that because they will pull from things like Zillow and Redfin and just depends on like what sourcing you want to come from.
mhm.
But oh, I'll are you talking about like the CRM? Not CRM, but the like past client. So I'm kind of preparing right now. I'm gonna send like an envelope to past clients that have like bought a while ago. And yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm putting in their address and
Nice.
I am asking ChatGPT
That's
to do a market analysis. And sometimes
cool.
it only gives like a few comps and then you can just ask for it to pull more
Yeah,
and it will do that.
that's a good
Um,
idea. I'm gonna see if that works. That is so
yeah. And then sometimes you can like say, can you use this address? Like, but let me find, we can
Oh
chat
my
about something too, what I'm looking for, but I'm gonna pull it up. Um, and I can tell you like specifically what it's doing because it drafted like a whole letter and everything.
wow, this is so cool. My mind is blown right now.
What did you type
This
in?
what?
What
Sorry, I
did
didn't
you
hear.
type in?
Oh, I typed in, can you do a market analysis on my home? And I gave the address and it pulled up photos. It pulled up all my property overview, when it was bought, what it was bought for, an estimate market value, comparable properties, um, local market trends, and a little
Hmm.
conclusion.
Yep. I'll share. Okay, so this is my folder that has them.
Oh, wow. It's the Zestimate because they're
Yeah.
pulling a Zestimate from
Okay,
Zillow.
so this is mine. And oh, what I found you can do in Google Drive, I didn't know this before, you can do tabs. So these are on the left. These are all the addresses I pulled. These are like all past sales.
Mhm.
And so, I have to add their name.
You had
And
ChatGPT write this letter.
yes. So it was like end of February. So I'm gonna obviously update.
Oh,
I wanted to get a bunch done. I got
oh my
my
God.
envelopes, like manila folders. And I'm just gonna make the fronts look pretty and then just mail them out. You could also, because I've seen there's is it Girls with Grit? One of those groups um
Yeah.
has like the CMA box. And
Oh, oh,
it's
yes.
yeah, it's pricey for like a whole box. And then I'm like, what are they gonna do with like a box? They're just gonna throw it away. Um,
Right.
but I was
The
like, I'm gonna make
presentation is really cool though.
yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna make like a whole like a folder and I might do like, like a market dwellings or something to put in there that's like an item of value. So
Mhm.
yeah, it says like current
That's
estimate, purchase price, what their
yeah.
appreciation is, and then this has comps. And
Yeah.
then my one of the prompts I put in is I want to send them a market update so they can use the information not just for selling their home. I want it so to show like what equity they have if they want to use it
Mhm.
for it's down here. Let's see. return on investment. So it talks about refinancing,
Mhm.
a home equity loan. So it just says like options, like what to
Yeah.
do with this information. So you have a ton of value in your home, you know, if you wanted to sell, but I have people who bought, you know,
Mhm.
2021 with a
Mhm.
2% rate and they're not
Mhm.
going anywhere.
Right.
So I want them to know like, hey, if you want to pull out, you know, money, like this is how much money, you know, you potentially have based off of what
Yeah.
it could appraise for. And then because of I'm doing the group, I also had them
Mhm.
do like
Yeah.
this introduction.
Yeah. Oh my God, my
So,
mind is blown. I'm like, this is so good. It's so nice because, last year, that training I did with Coffee and Contracts, like I created this template with the
mhm,
CMAs. You know what I'm talking
yep,
about, right? Okay.
yep,
So, like, that's really great and all. And the presentation I feel like is really nice, but it's a lot of like plug and play. It's very like time consuming. Whereas this like alleviates the time. Like this is
yeah,
done in like one flip
yeah.
of the.
So I literally was at the library with my kids when I made
Oh,
all these.
this is so cool.
So I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Oh
8.
my God, I have got to do this.
I have, yeah, I probably have like 15. So I'm just gonna do some tweaks and
Yeah,
updates.
yeah,
Um, and you can also like one of these, okay, so like this one in Atkinson, I was the listing agent
yeah.
and
Oh,
it's fair game. Like I can
yeah,
reach out to the buyers. They still live there.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's one of those things like if you had any sort of like communication, like
yeah.
contact with them,
Oh
um,
my God,
I
my
think it's
mind is.
worth it to do that. And like I said, I wanted to have language in there that wasn't just like I'm trying to poach, you know, like you know, when people are like, oh, well, there's nowhere to go to, where would I go if I sold? Like, so it's not really that, it's just, you
Yeah,
know,
just value.
hopefully it helps you with the value and like these are your options. Um, but yeah, so, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep like, you know, the links or anything like that. I could take those out.
You don't want to tell them honestly too much because
Yeah,
I feel like that's why the what I did last year, the CMA template, I didn't give them too much information. Like I
yeah,
wanted them to call me. So honestly, I probably would take out some of that
yeah,
stuff, but I just think the time that it's going to save sending this
yes,
is awesome. Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Because even like, okay, so the template that I did last year, right? Even just going in and searching every property, RPR, I'm
Hmm.
like having to look and research and grab all this data where ChatGPT is doing it all.
Yep. And I think what they're doing is if you look up a property on Zillow, it'll say like comparable properties, and it's probably pulling from that. So
Yeah,
I would just use your discretion and look at what it's pulling, and you still may need to go into like an RPR or something,
yeah,
or like in the MLS and physically pull. And I would just use that based off of like houses that you think have more of a chance of actually wanting to list with you, like they've
right.
been there for a while,
Yeah,
you know that they don't have like an amazing rate. You know, when you
yeah.
were working with them, it was potentially
Honestly,
going to be like a first home and things
I
like
would
that.
still
So
send it. Like it's just a way to be top of mind, and if
yeah,
they hear
absolutely.
anybody looking to buy or sell, um, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so great.
Yeah, so that's been really a big thing. And like I said, I organize it in Google.
Yeah, no, that's so great. I feel like that was like such a huge golden nugget.
Cool.
We should just end on that.
Does anyone else have
It's just Nicole.
oh, Nicole.
I'm taking
Okay,
it
so she
all
wants
in.
your template from Coffee and Contracts. Yeah. Yeah, that would be you should share that with the on the Facebook group.
Oh yeah, I think it's a coffee and contracts template now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
I have like the
the link.
original, but the coffee and contracts one, I feel like they spruced it up.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are members of Coffee and Contracts. Nicole, do you use Coffee and Contracts?
I mean, I'm so fresh and new.
Yeah.
So no, I don't yet.
It's definitely worth so I've been a member for like 4 years now, and I think yeah, it's been really good. So the biggest thing is it used to be more of like a plug and play where they would have templates that you can just like put onto Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And now it's a lot more interactive and it helps you like stand apart really well. And you put in the effort into making the stuff. But for example, like I just posted a reel yesterday, um, and the reel was like, what if we just, and then like the audio was, what was it, leave? Yeah, something like that. And the template was like, the idea was you do it of like relocating to your state or your area. So I changed it up and it has like great directions on how to do it. There are buyer and seller guides. It's a really good, especially if you're new, having like the templates. So like, because what's going to happen is you're randomly going to get someone be like, oh, I didn't realize you're in real estate. I I would love to buy a house this year. Let's chat. And you're like, I have nothing. And so it has the template already made for you that you just customize with like your own image. You put your name in, your contact info, like you can customize it however you want. And it uses Canva, which is free. And so it has tons of templates for like every single thing. So I found it super helpful. I think the Facebook group is really great. There's a lot of like inspiration and like connections from that group, and just following people and seeing kind of what they're doing has been really good too. But yeah, it's Reels, Facebook and Instagram posts, any like mailers or anything that you're sending out, email templates, all of that good stuff. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great.
And I know
This is so
Stevie's
good.
he's the coach there, so
Yeah.
Yay!
yeah.
No, I don't even know how I found you, Stevie. I think I was just looking like real agents in North Florida. And
Nice.
then, yeah, I couldn't sleep this morning at 4 a.m. and I was like clicking through my reels and then saw this. And then here I am,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you hopped on.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Text me about collage too.
Oh, yeah.